All right, you're back on the John Fredericks Radio Network. You know, the James House is bringing you this hour. I love the James House because so many people in a time of need, the James House provides support, the right type of advocacy, education, and assistance for people in the greater Tri-Cities, Virginia region. People that are affected by sexual violence, by domestic abuse and violence, by stalking. They do this to empower them to become healthy, safe, and self-sufficient. So nothing worse than being in an abusive, violent relationship and you have nowhere to go and no way out. Think about how sad that is. Now, all their services at the James House are trauma-informed. They're cost-free. They're free. They're confidential. They're available in Spanish and English. They have a 24-hour crisis line that I want you to write down because you might need it, but someone you know in your sphere might. So it's good to have it handy. 804-458-2840. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365. 804-458-2840. Go to jameshouse.org. That's jameshouse.org. Get more information. You know, the James House provides 7,000 hours of service per year for women, men, and children overcoming trauma. And we've all experienced a lot of trauma, you know, from COVID-19. Some of it's subtle, some not so subtle. And one things that, you know, we're very concerned about is child abuse, violence, sexual abuse, spousal abuse, partner abuse, and people in relationships they can't get out of. They have no housing, they have no money, and so they're scared, they don't know what to do, so they remain in a tough situation. The James House provides an avenue to get out of that. Last year they provided over 3,600 emergency shelter bed nights. This year their shelter has been packed full since the summer, and they're paying for overflow units bigger than ever in their 32-year history. They do such great work, and if you could donate to them right now, that would be fantastic. I know you got other things to do with your money. Besides, ITAC, Industrial Turnaround Company, is going to offer a gift of up to $3,000 matching to support the James House. It's really easy to do. All you have to do is their website. Go to thejameshouse.org, jameshouse.org, and you're good to go. One of their sponsors that has been a fabulous advocate of them and the jameshouse.org is Dan Schultheis. Dan Schultheis is the VP of Service and Special Projects for Atlantic Contractors, Inc., ACI, and he's with us now. Dan, thanks for being with us.
Yes, sir. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. It's Dan Schultheis Jr., actually. That's
okay.
How you pronounce the name. Yes, sir.
Dan, I got your name right, but I didn't have the junior, right? Dan Schultheis Jr.
Schultheis, yes, sir, absolutely.
Dan
Schultheis.
Okay, you got it. Dan, tell us a little about your company's involvement with the James House.
So about 10 years ago, we got approached by the James House to do some work with them to raise some money. They had a nice little casino night they wanted us to get involved with, and I felt that it was a great opportunity for us to reach out. I believe in helping people in our locale, in our local communities. Obviously there's a lot of big charities out there, but this one was local. This affects your neighbors. This one helps your neighbors, the people that you don't know, the people that live in the shadows, that have been victims or survivors of domestic violence. And I felt like we could help that and be part of that whole group in our local community. So that's why I jumped in and decided it was a really, really good cause. And all the money goes directly to the house to help these people.
Now, Dan, how involved have you been? Have you actually seen firsthand some of the fine work that they've did and met some of their constituents?
It's amazing. I actually, this stuff touches everybody.
Right.
It's in every part of your life. I don't care if you're old, young, rich, poor. It doesn't matter. So yes, sir. I've seen firsthand the help and the work that they've done with some of the people that I actually work with. Some of my friends, they've reached out. So if you dig just one layer deep, you'd be surprised to find out the number of people that have been affected and been helped by a local house. In this case, the James House. So yes, sir, absolutely, I've seen it. It's amazing. They do some great work, and what's unique about them is that they'll help you through the problem, and then they'll help you get back on your feet, and then they'll continue to help you as long as you need it, free of charge, which I think is fantastic. Counseling, whatever else. Because a lot of times, some of these organizations that put you out there and say, okay, you're all fixed, you're all better. And in reality, you're really not. And some people need some longer term and longer healing. And the house is there to help them through it all, which I think is fantastic. And that's another reason why I jumped in.
Well, Dan Schultheis Jr. with us. He's the VP of Services and Special Projects for ACI. That's Atlanta Contractors, Inc., doing some great work with the James House. Go to jameshouse.org for more info and to donate there, jameshouse.org. What people don't realize when you get into abusive situations, and many of us very, very concerned now with COVID, lockdowns, kids not going to school. But last year, not this year, but last year, 22% of the people that the James House helped were children. I mean, you imagine what it takes for a child to call a hotline, Dan, right? Pretty tough situation.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And unfortunately, a lot of people, as I'm sure you probably have known, a lot of people are very concerned, and they're embarrassed by their situation. A lot of people realize that they think, I was a little girl, I was a little boy, and I never thought that I'd end up in this situation, in this abusive situation. So a lot of times they're embarrassed to come forward and obviously accuse their accuser, and sometimes with very unfortunate consequences. I will tell you that the most important thing is that they will ensure your anonymity. I'm sorry about that. It's a tough word. So it's completely confidential. So nobody will know that you're involved and that this is actually happening. They're there to help. So it's not like they broadcast it. They don't put a list of all their survivors out there. It's simply just a helping hand, and know that your information is completely confidential, and that's crucial.
Well, the other thing is last year, the James House helped 76% of the people they helped were women and 24% men. And of course, we'll put children in the male-female category, but 70% of people they helped were women, mainly battered women. I mean, the number of abused women in violent situations is shocking, and it's continuing to grow, especially, again, with the COVID situation, because people can't get out. And so women, especially when they're in that circumstance, if you don't have somewhere to go, if you have, let's say you have children, you have nowhere to go, you have no housing, you have no money, you have no food, what do? You end up staying there, right, Dan?
Yes, sir, absolutely. And it's amazing that they provide a lot of different help with the food and the supplies and everything else, because obviously living is expensive to begin with. The budget they've got at the James House is about $1.3 million, with staff of 19 and a volunteer team of 50. They give haircuts and things like that, and certainly, obviously with the counseling and everything else, they try to have a good resource of a lot of different people, a lot of different avenues that will help these people out in times of need. Simply, one of the things with COVID, obviously, it's kind of screwed everybody up, was their financing. There's a lot of the fundraisers and things like that that we've all been used to and seeing and actually have taken for granted. They've fallen short. They've fallen short of about $25,000 this year, and that's very unfortunate. Thankfully, our great president, he with his COVID Act and relief, they were able to receive $50,000, but they're still $25,000 short of the budget they needed by the end of 2020. All this stuff equates to different things that can be added and helped out, and simply just a $50 donation can help provide a mom and her two kids with fresh groceries. A $100 donation can educate high school or college students in safe dating and healthy relationships. So it teaches these kids, the signs of really bad situations. Mm-hmm. And it comes on kind of slow. The abusers, they come on and they kind of draw you in. And this program will help educate some of the warning signs for these young people that don't necessarily obviously don't look out for this kind of stuff. So just a simple donation can help them achieve this 25,000 goal that they need by the end of the year. And we're excited to try to help. We're going to do the match as well. I know ITAC's a strong fan and a strong supporter of the James House, and we'll do the same. We're going to do the match based on the number of donations we get. So we'll certainly be in that with ITAC.
Well, the match is big. The match is big, Dan. No question about it. Atlantic Constructors Inc. and Dan Schultheis Jr. with us, VP of Service and Special Projects with us. And a $50 donation, just to give you an idea, can provide a mom and her 2 kids with fresh groceries. And I said this yesterday. You know, Dan, one of the other biggest problems we have for health is the lack of vegetables and fruits that children are getting in underprivileged areas, you know, because they're expensive. And so, you know, people that have very little resources, they end up shopping at, you know, Family Dollar store, not anything against either of those, but it's not like you're getting fresh produce and vegetables. And that's one of the big issues. That's what the James House does. They try to do that. $100 donation can educate high school and college students about safe dating and healthy relationships. $500 can support the hotline for 24 hours a day for an entire week. So we appreciate what ACI is doing with this match. And Dan, your final thoughts as we go into the holiday season, which also exasperates violence and spousal abuse, partner abuse, things like that. What is your message to people that might be listening right now, that might have somebody that they know that could be in that situation? What do you say to them?
So, excuse me, I'm sorry. One of the first things I want to say is that it's really simple. You know, you can look past a lot of different things, and you think, this money's not going to help. This is money not going to go anywhere. And I will say that 100% it goes directly to the house, and it goes directly to the recipients and the survivors. And I think that's huge. It doesn't go to pay exorbitant salaries and things like that. What I will say is that you're exactly right, John. Unfortunately, the holidays are extremely stressful to begin with. And then you couple that with all the quarantines and all the restrictions and everything else we're all going through. It creates a level of anxiety that some people aren't used to. Therefore, sometimes they manifest and they take it out on other people. There are some people that obviously will not necessarily have been abusive or been abused over the course of their 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 years. But some of these things bring out and elicit some really very, very bad things because they're in a place of desperation and they don't really know where to turn. What I will say is that if you feel, and if there's something that you have somebody that is feeling like they're in a situation of desperation, and you get some warning, I would encourage you to learn and listen to some of the things, some of the clues that some of your friends and neighbors may come about. It may be a bruise. It may be something they show up late. It's just different things that you could look for. I would encourage you to just go ahead and dig a little deeper and encourage them that there's one place that they can turn. And I'm saying that to the actual abusers. You know, they can seek help as well, because that's what we have to kill. We have to initialize help for the people that are creating abusers and say a prayer for all these people in the times of need. Obviously, in this great place.
You got it. Dan Schultheis Jr., Atlantic Constructors Inc., ACI. Thanks for being with us. More information or to donate, jameshouse.org. Put in got to put in the word thejameshouse.org. Thank you, Dan. Thanks for being with us. Thanks for the James House for all you guys do.